Welcome to day 20 of our January challenge. It's the final day on this little mini piece that we're doing, our Row, Row, Rondo boat, which is a piece I've arranged or created to act as an introduction to JaNEWary's Rondo, which is a grade 3 piece on the exam syllabus. And today we've got our final statement of our Row, Row tune, and we're forte and we're strong. We're going to diminuendo towards the end, and we've got a writ on the very last two chords. So let's play through it first of all for you. Here we go. 1 and 2 and a little bit caught up with playing the notes there and didn't particularly diminuendo quite as much as I should have 4 bars before the end. So let's go through this. So we'll start with our tune as we know it's very comfortably back in our right hand, C, C, and then 3, 2, 1. That's nice and straightforward. Left hand has got C and E, and it's on middle C still. And then we're going to mirror what the top hand's doing, but we're going to go down and we're going to go E, D, C, and we're going to do that with 2, 3, 4. And that's a nice little fingering to practice because that does come in the JaNEWary piece. So if we just put that together, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and okay. So just make they move together. Make sure that we bring out the tune in the top hand as the most predominant thing there. Okay. Top hand's going to carry on much like we've been doing it, and if we stick to this fingering of 1, 2, 1, then we end up with a thumb on this high G, and we can just open it out to the triad and just let those fingers fall out. And our left hand copies the triad down there. While that tune's happening in the top hand, the gently down the stream, left hand is playing middle C and E, much like it's just been doing really. It's going to do a C on its own with this highest note and then get on the triad. Okay, so should we put those 4 bars together? So this is starting at bar 25. 1 and 2 and sound even better a little bit faster so that we get a bit of a run when you can get there. That would be really nice. Okay, our next 2 bars, these really hark to the opening bars, as it happens, of the Rondo piece, where we've got a sort of swapping between the hands. So the right hand starts with thumb up on high C, finger 2 on G, plays that 2 times, long, short. And then it jumps to our thumb on the G and finger 2 on the E. It's either side of the black. Okay, so just practice that. 1 and 2 and again. 1 and 2 and good. Okay. Let's carry that on a bit. You've then got a slight gap. We get ready with our thumb on the E, which was the lowest note we've just been playing. You'll see how we're again moving through the notes that belong to this C arpeggio. So we started with thumb on the C, finger 2 on the G. And then when we hopped, our thumb went on to the G, which had been the lowest note. It now becomes the highest note. And E is the lowest note there. Now that's going to become our highest note. Finger 2 is going on to the red C. And then we just finish with a C on its own there. Okay, so we put those 2 bars together, just that right hand. 1 and 2 and that's it. Okay, left hand kind of answers in and fills in our gaps. So left hand is going to sit ready either side of the black. This is all above middle C at the moment. Thumb on the G, finger 2 on the E, and it's going to answer with G, G, E, and then you've got 2 C's And if we just look into the next bar, we're going to go to the G below middle C. So actually, if we put our thumb on that C, that gets us securely down for that G. Okay, so if we just practice that left hand's going to go G to E and C down to the G below. So I will count in 1 under, 2 under, 1 under to bring in this left hand. So 1 and 2 and 1 and okay. So all we need to do now is fit those together. So top hand again, thumb on the high C, finger on the G, finger 2 on the G, and that's going to be jumping from there, and you can maybe practice this move from there to either side of the black. Left hand in the meantime is going to sit either side of the black, but down near middle C, nearer there. Okay, and maybe you just want to quickly walk through that top hand. It's going to be on there, give that little squeeze, move to either side of the black, give that little squeeze, move to thumb on the E, finger 2 on the red, give that a little squeeze, and then 2 all on its own, just to feel the security of that. Okay, let's go through it. 1 and 2 and okay, let's try that again, just making sure it all lines up. Ready? 1 and 2 and add one more note to that. When we land on the low G, the top hand has gone up to a high G. Okay, so let's just add that in as well. Same thing again. Right hand on the high C, finger 2 on the G, left hand either side of the black F, near the middle of your harp. 1 and 2 and ready on the G. Lovely. Okay, and you might want to work a bit more on that and just get the lining up really accurate. So our last 2 bars, there's the G that you've just landed on in both hands. Then our right hand jumps down, finger 3 on the black F, thumb on the D, that's just 1 above the red, and then moves down 1. So it resolves back to our key of C there, okay? Left hand, it just played a G on its own here. Now we do that G with a B above it. And then it jumps down to the red C and thumb on the G. Now you've done that move before. You did that move on day 18, our second day of this piece, where you have the G on its own, the G and the B, and then the C and the G. And you may recall we had a couple of choices of fingering on there. Having done the G and the B with 2 and 1, you could move to put your thumb on the G and finger 3 on the red C, or you could stick with the finger 2 on the G and get your 4th finger onto the red C down there, so long as you can get a curve in that finger so that you can keep it really good sounding, not catching any other strings because we've made it too straight and pulled in or anything. So if we try those last 2 bars, top hand again, high G, jumping down to finger 3 on the black, thumb just above the red, and then step down. Left hand, the G on its own, G and B, and then this low C and G. Okay, it's not massive moves down there either way. 1, ready? 1 and 2 and good. So the thing in that top hand, as soon as you've played that high G, is to get your hand moved, and you can practice that, just that move. Can I be there straight away? Notice I'm only playing the G and I'm just placing that chord, and when I can do that really quickly, can I do that even with the left hand involved? I may not place my left hand too soon, because if I do, I'm going to deaden that G sound. But it can hover above it, and this hand's done its move. There we go. And the very last notes there, that chord there, you've got a C and a G in that left hand. for a second, if I just hop those notes up into the top hand and show you it with one hand. There's my C and the G that the left hand's playing down here. And here's my E and my C. And you can see that we've got a C major arpeggio chord just been shared between the hands. So I've taken the C and G and put it down here. That's why it sounds so comfortably home. Let's try our last 2 bars. We'll play it quietly and we're going to slow down for these last few notes as well. It's a rit when there's only 2 chords and it lands on that second to last chord. Really just means wait a little bit before you play the last chord, and you've just got to kind of feel it. So I'll count you through it a little bit to give you an idea. So this is the last 2 bars, G in both hands, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. So you just stretch that final beat out. Try that again. Last 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 2 and chord. Lovely. Okay, let's put the last 4 bars together now. So we practice this jump again. It's the arpeggio notes. Putting that together and involving the left hand as well. 1 and 2 and super. Well done. Good work.